What's up, everybody? It's Troy here. Hope you're doing great. Today, I want to talk about a few more topics within relationship and specifically a little bit about breath, sex, and body tension. And I know you might be asking yourself, like, how does breath apply to a relationship? Well, I'm going to explain a little bit today. So let's jump into it. One of the aspects about, and if you haven't heard me say this before, that one of the main medicines that I share is breath work. Breathwork was a huge part of my journey, is still a huge part of my journey. It brought me into deeper levels of healing. And essentially, I went on this long, like 7 year healing journey. And through that process, I realized that every time I would have these deep inner healing type of moments, I would feel this like release of tension within my body through the breath. There was always a connection to it. And so I knew there was something there. There was some magic there to be understood. And so I started studying more, learning more about the breath, and continuing my own practice with breath work until ultimately creating a modality that's called the BODHI method, which is a Sanskrit word for awakening that I share around my community, around the country, online, stuff like that. So that's how I got into the breath. And then realizing that the breath holds so many aspects of the self and also relationship as a whole. And so let me explain a little bit. You know, um, let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about sex, all right? For women, this is something for us to understand, right? So for women, when they have a sexual release, let's call it, they actually get more energy. It gives them energy, life force energy. For men, when we have a release, we actually deplete or lose energy. And that's why it takes us a few days to kind of rebuild and come back so we can have um, another event per se, right? Another episode, another act of lovemaking, whatever you want to call it. For men, if you think about that in the actual act of lovemaking or sex, right? One of the things that we can do is by creating awareness to our breath is control our release, essentially, in the body tension that we carry. Because if you're in the act of lovemaking, you're going to carry a lot of tension at times if you're in your head. If we're being heady about it, we're thinking our way through the act of sex, right? A lot of times that comes with the desire to be performance based. We feel like we have to perform at a certain level. And a lot of that comes, I'm speaking to men maybe here a little bit more specifically, because that's the viewpoint I have, right? But for a lot of men, culturally, it's like a thing that's put upon us. Like we have to be good at this. We have to perform at this. Whereas the woman, from our perspective, often they get to enjoy the experience, and we have to be the one who's acting, performing. And as you can probably hear by just the words, right? That's not a lot of connection, right? And so the way we can connect through the act of love making or sex is by connecting to our breath. And I'll tell you how. There's essentially three levels of sex. The first is the physical act of when just two bodies meet. All right, and that's nothing more than honestly like a much more interactive and enjoyable form of masturbation. It's just two bodies meeting. Then beyond that, we have a deep, like soulful connection. And that's when like we start to connect energetically, right? The subtleties of our body, the energetic aspect of our body start to connect to one another. And by doing that, we want to access our breath because that's going to allow us to change tempo, control tempo, to connect the other. And it's allowing us to get out of our minds and into our body, right? Experientially, that's where we want to be, is in our body. Our body is a felt sensation. The head is thinking, right? It's a thought type of calibration, right? So we want to be in the act of feeling throughout the process. So the way we feel is by getting into our breath. We let everything just start to disappear and we fall into our breath. And by falling into our breath, we come into the present moment. And the last and third level of sex, lovemaking, is like a fully present disappearance, into the cosmos, whatever you want to call it, type of energy, type of an experience. And you may have experienced one, two, or all three of those, or none of those. That's fine too. But the goal is to connect to our breath, to get out of our heads and into our body. And what that does is it connects us to the tension we carry within our body. And when we're heady, we're going to be stiff, we're going to be in performance mode, and that's not natural. There's no flow to that, there's no fluidity to that. And to really experience a relationship at its ultimate level and sex at the highest forms, we want to be present within the body. And so this is something that, if you are in a relationship, you can communicate with your partner. Let them know that you're working on some new stuff, you're trying something different. And that may sound silly, right? But it's just going to take the pressure off of you. And that's what you want. You don't want pressure within that, within the relationship and within the act of lovemaking or sex in general. So it's going to allow you to do a little bit more of that. So connect to the breath, follow your breath. Do it as part of a daily practice, just connecting to your breath. Throughout the day, connect to your breath to realize where you carry body tension. One of the videos before I talked about, like, if you're going into a social situation and perhaps you're looking to meet somebody, you might start to feel some body tension because you walk in there, like, all the eyes are on me now, right? Everything kind of stiffens up a little bit. Connect to your breath, relax, move the breath, release, and just notice where the tension is in your body. Typically be like in your neck and shoulders. Maybe your stomach locks up a little bit. But when we carry body tension, we start to lose our throat. Our throat chakra energy around there starts to tighten up a little bit. You actually have a lot of nerves. You have chakras is a Eastern term for, like, actually nerve bundles, where you carry more nerves in certain certain parts of your body, and they're all connected by the vagus nerve, which is I believe it's Latin, could be Greek, one of the two, but it means the wandering nerve because it kind of wanders through our body and connects all these organs and these big nerve centers throughout your body. You have over 100 million nerve cells within your body, right? 100 million nerve cells. So you're designed to feel, and if we think about that, going back to the act of sex and lovemaking, it's a felt experience, not a heady, thoughtful experience, right? So the goal is to get out of our minds into our bodies and feel our way through this process. And if the both of you can do that, then I promise you the experience itself will be much more impactful, much more enjoyable, and it'll help you deepen yourself. It'll help you actually be a form of awakening for yourself. You can use the act of sex to take you deeper into who you are versus it just being a surface level meeting of two bodies. And one of the beautiful things about that is the actual desire for sex starts to shift because you're not as focused on the physical appearance as much as you are the energetic connection between you and your potential partner. That's a beautiful thing, in my opinion, right? To connect to somebody deeply through the energetic body, right? And so the breath, again, leads us to those spaces, letting go of body tension, creating greater awareness through that, and ultimately going to a place where, you deepen your connection to one another and help wake yourself up even a little bit more. And that is a beautiful thing. So just sharing you all some more insights, some more tips about relationship. Let me know in the comments what kind of topics you want to cover as we explore more of this dating and relationship type stuff. So much love for y'all. Until next time, peace.